What's going on, Falcon fans? This is your boy Recondo coming back at you with another video. So today we're going to talk about my keys to victory. Today we're going to talk about my keys to victory on how we'll be able to get this thing rolling today. Um, for these last two games going against the Arizona Cardinals. Of course, you know how I do. I go offense, defense, I go special teams. We'll talk about, some of the things that this team definitely need to be looking at going into the off season. Make sure these guys are ready to go. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. So, guys, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys are here to talk about. And please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in and hear me talk about these Atlanta Falcons. So, like I said, always, guys, you know what I do first. I always go over the injury report because the injury report is always important every week. We have to talk about injury report to make sure we look at who's going to be in and who's potentially going to be out for the coming weeks. Right. So today injury report, Chuma Doga probably is going to go on IR. Just probably more than likely trying to get some guys back on the field this week anyway. Chuma Doga is going to be out. Probably more likely going on IR. We'll see if he's able to stick with the team. Next season, see it could be some depth on the offensive line. He did get one start this year, so we'll just have to see how it goes with Chuma Udoka. Elijah Wilkins is listed on the injury report. He was not on Monday, but some kind of calf injury. So we'll see if he'll be able to go. If not, more than likely, Matt Hennessy's been out there. They're probably going to go ahead and activate Matt Hennessy, bring him in, probably fill into that left guard spot. We'll have to see how that goes as well. Of course, we still have John Fitzpatrick, another guy that's back to play. We won't know if they're going to activate him. Two more guys that they actually brought back today as well. Jared Barnhart, who actually had pretty good chemistry with Desmond Ridder in the preseason. So it depends on if they actually activate Jared Barnhart to actually be on the active roster because that chemistry between Jared Barnhart and Desmond Ridder was really, really good in the preseason. We haven't seen Jared Barnhart all year, so be interested to see if they actually get to give him some burn. He's been out. We don't know his physical shape, what kind of shape he's in. So it'll be really interesting if they decide to bring Jared Barnhart back. And then Justice Schaefer is coming back off the IR. He was on the practice squad, but he's coming back off the IR from the practice squad, so he'll be go back on that practice squad roster. It's one of the things that we definitely will be able to see this week. This week is really more about the young guys to see um, where we got, moving forward. It's not, packing it in, not trying to get wins and things like that, but you're definitely going to get some of your young guys more looks to see, some of the improvements that you're probably going to have to need moving forward with this Falcon franchise. So that's our injury report. Before I get into the actual keys to victory today, I just really want to go back and I've been watching social media, and I always watch social media. I rarely really post because personally for me, I hate going back and forth with people. Their opinions. People allowed to their opinions in this world about things and about so many other things. Particularly about the Falcons, though, people have so many different opinions and what they think is going to happen, and all this kind of stuff. And some of those, I hate to go back and forth because until something happens, until you really hear it, from the franchise or something like that, you never really know what's going to happen, right? So I hate going back and forth with people with their takes. Some people have so many hot takes out there, and then people going back and forth and argue with these people. It's really ridiculous. Like the one about Arthur Smith being on the hot seat. I can tell you this. I had no insight on this, but from what I seen from this team, Arthur Smith is not on the hot seat. Um, 2 years here, what would you expect him to do coming in with a bad salary cap situation in the first season, coming off a COVID year, 182,000, 182 million, $82 million in cap space. with all the bad cap that we had, dead cap issues we had. This year, getting rid of our franchise quarterback, still had dead cat, the biggest dead cat issue um in the NFL, in history, and you're gonna put him on a hot seat because of these 2 seasons. I really believe that that's just, if anybody's going out there saying that Arthur Smith is on a hot seat, yes. I really feel like we did underachieve this year under all those circumstances because the NFC South was down and we probably had a chance to actually maybe make it to the playoffs because I figured we probably one of the better teams in the NFL and in that division this year. However, it just didn't fall for us. We lost a lot of one score games, but we was competitive in all the games. That's what you really want to see from a team that's really out there fighting every week. You didn't see not one time that this team and like they quit or they didn't want it. That's not what you've seen for this team, which is really telling about the culture and the coaching staff and how this team is being built. The fact of the matter is the team is really not that talented. It still have a lot of holes, a lot of young guys on the team, and you see the potential of this team moving forward. So I would argue that this next upcoming season is really the first really season that you really can judge Arthur Smith, the coaching staff. Now, from the front office standpoint, of course, it starts from day one when they take over. But if you just look at the draft, the first 2 draft class from Terry Fontenot and how he manages salary cap, I think he has done an outstanding job as well. I think it's a good team that the Atlanta Falcons management put together between Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot. So moving forward, I think the Atlanta Falcons are in good hands. And at this point, it's really not a good time to try to start already talk about making changes because we didn't like the outcome that we had these first 2 seasons, which um, all the experts already didn't think the Falcons was going to be too much this season anyway. Like I said, they overachieved last year probably, and this year probably underachieved because of the division, how bad the division was. But um, I think the Atlanta Falcons is in a good spot. So I just wanted to say that because I hear all these pundits out here, like I said, these bad takes talk about Arthur Smith on the hot seat. That's just not the case. And if you really been watching this team, and if you're really a fan of this team, you have to see the progress that he has made from taking a team, a Super Bowl team, to only having 3 guys from that team left on this team. Is really building their team right now. So you have to just take a step back and look at the progress that this regime has made since they've taken over. Like I said, the back salary cap situation that they was put in the first 2 seasons, it was really something that a lot of general manager and coaching staff really wouldn't want to come into because of so many owners want to start to pull the trigger on coaches and general managers. But I felt like they did the best job they can. So many turnovers from last year to this year, and it's going to be another turnover going into the 3rd season for this regime because they got like 28 free agents. So it's going to be another turnover, but this time going into you can actually really start to judge this coaching staff this season because they're going to be able to sign some veteran guys in free agency. Their young guys that they had the first 2 seasons should be able to start to show some of their growth. Hopefully, year 1 to year 2, year 2 to year 3. So we'll start to see that, and then depends on how their draft class go. Just have another great draft from this team, and the skies will be the limit for the Atlanta Falcons. One thing that we do really need to understand, and I always like to say this because in the NFL, it's all about the quarterback position. Right now, we're really not 100% sure about Desmond Ritter. He only had 2 starts, right? So that has to get figured out. Definitely for any team to be successful in the NFL, you have to have a quarterback. Um, and we still just the verdict's still out on Desmond Ritter, so we don't know about that. But far as a team building standpoint for the Atlanta Falcons, I really believe that the Atlanta Falcons have done a great job, and So anybody out there saying Arthur Smith is on the hot seat, I mean, no, it's nowhere even near close to that. I don't even think Arthur Blanket even considering thinking about putting him on the hot seat right now. Like I said, the clock probably starts in 23, but even 23 still is really where you want to start seeing this team make some strides. So that's where I'm at with that. I just had to get it out there. Like I said, I've been watching it on social media all week long, all day long, talking about the Smith, um, the coaching he's been doing. But I think he's been doing a great job. Um, just from the situational football standpoint, I thought Arthur Smith, just from last year, from being the first time head coach to this year, he handled the situational football even better. So just the growth there, you have to like. And yes, um, a lot of you know one score games that we lost this year, but this team was competitive throughout, and they had so many opportunities to win these games, and that shows you the growth. Um, a defense in itself, for years, the defense has really been the downfall for this team. Defense still did not play great, but as far as giving up points, they did not give up a lot of points. So you can see the improvement there. You still see so many holes in this team. Like, no, we still can't get to the quarterback on 37 sacks in the last 2 years. That's not going to get it done. Um, we've got to be able to build the passing game better. Um, Seemed like we took a step back from last year. I thought, of course, but that's the quarterback position. That's why I talk about the quarterback position because Matty Ice last year almost had 4,000 yards, right? And this year we might eclipse 2,500 yards. Um, so we'll just have to see about that. Um, in Arthur Smith defense, the most players that we brought in wrestling is not bust. That's what I'm talking about. Um, these first two draft classes have been really, really good. They really have. Besides for probably Jalen Mayfield and Frank Darby, um, two guys probably have not really did a whole lot in the draft course. And then Justin Schaefer, John Fitzpatrick, we never really got to see those guys on the field. But other than that, every other draftee um, that the Atlanta Falcons have drafted the last 2 years have had lots of playing time, has contributed in some form or fashion. I mean, even Jalen Mayfield started pretty much all season last year, so he did get the experience. It wasn't good performance, but it was really good experience for him, and hopefully he'll be able to grow from that. So you got to be able to like this last 2 year draft classes, and if anything tell you about that track record for drafting, you have to be pleased with that. And Archie Smith spent the players they brought in did well, so maybe next season they will be able to build off the good foundation. Exactly, that is 100% correct. Um, Even to some of the free agents, right? You got to think about a guy like Cardell Patterson, who's really had a resurgence in Atlanta. Has never actually played these many snaps in his NFL career for an older player, and you know, just this guy was just really electric for us in these last 2 seasons, right? Kind of taking a back seat to Tyler Algier, towards the end of the season. But for the most part, Carter Patterson is really good pickup for us. Lorenzo Carter, I thought he was a good pickup for us. Depends on if they're going to actually keep him this year. We'll have to see. I think Rashawn Evans was also a good pickup. Casey Hayward was a good pickup before he got injured. So those are some of the veteran guys that we was able to bring in and see some extensive playing time. Eric Harris took a seat back to Richard Grant and Jalen Hawkins, but last year he came in and he played well for us. So just those 1 year contracts that Atlanta Falcons got from veterans. Like I said, this front office was really working, going in and get some bargain basement guys to come in because of our salary cap situation. So you got to respect what the Atlanta Falcons been doing so far. A good team can make adjustments when you play close games because you can recognize your needs. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, if you just go back to some of the games, like it's probably like 4 or 5 games this year just to costly mistakes, turnovers, right? And we already know if you turn over the ball, you lose games, right? The Chargers game, if Taquan Graham don't drop that ball, we probably win that game, right? Um, the Commanders game, um, interception at the 2 yard line, we probably win that game. The Rams game, after going down, 23 and then coming back, roaring back like we did, if Marcus Mariota don't throw an interception in the end zone, have an opportunity to win that game. The roughing the passer penalty on Grady Jarrett in the Tampa game in Tampa Bay, um, we had the momentum in that game. So you just go back and look at some of the games where um, we had so many opportunities to win those games, and and I would say it had nothing to do with the coaching. It was more of the execution on the field, um, and not the coaching in those aspects. And that's the experience going to be good for these young guys to to come in and start to make better decisions and stuff like that. But just go back and look at those games. Those games, we win those games, we having a whole different conversation about our playoff picture this season. But the one thing that all coaches say is you are what your record is, and right now the Falcons are 5-10, and that's what they are, right? 5-10 team it is what it is, um, and we got to make some some adjustments, cover some of these needs that we have. A good team. Okay, I just read that. All right, guys. So I just really want to come out here and talk about that before I get into the keys. The keys is really going to be real quick today because I won't lie to you guys. I lost motivation because we are out the playoffs. Still want to see this team win, but what I really want to see in these last two weeks is more of individual performances from guys, to see the improvement. Um, so something we can actually look forward to next year. So that's what I'm really looking for in these last two games. See some guys that you know that stand out to me. That yes, that's what we want to see next year, coming into next year. So that's more than these last two games about. The win is important, but um, more than anything, you want to see the progression from week one to to week 18. So that's what I'm talking about. Um, so let's get into these keys. Um, the first key on offense this week, for the the Cardinals game for me is gonna be, we have to get out to a fast start. The last 2 weeks, the offense really got off to slow starts, and the defense was not able to you know to to do anything about it. Defense got got us in a hole really quick in the last 2 weeks, right? So, and then the offense finally got started to get the clicking, and then we playing catch up, right? So, what I really want to offer from offensive standpoint is we got to get off to a fast start. Even if it's just getting a couple first downs, right, to get in some kind of rhythm. Um, want to see how a great scoring drive. You can want to have one of those longest game drives that Atlanta Falcons have been doing this season. That'd be great, but um, we got to get off to a better start. We don't want to go make a three and out, right? That's not definitely not what we want to do. So, my first key on offense this week is to make sure that we have a better start to the game on offense, right? No three and outs. Let's go out. Let's move the ball down the field, um, and let's see can we get the rhythm that we need going into this game. All right. My second key is you guys, you know what it is. It's going to be let's go ahead and let's keep that running game established. Make sure we be able to run the ball, like we've been doing all season long. Let's go out and be a hit hunter. They don't have one of their key playmakers in the backfield, Buda Baker. So Um, let's see, can we establish the run game? They put Simmons all over the field. Um, Collins, they did do a good job with him as well. But what we want to be able to do is run that ball like we've been doing all season long. JJ Watt. JJ Watt is definitely gonna come out and represent because he announced his retirement, so he definitely want to go out with a bang his last two games um, this season. We don't want him to wreck the game for us. So we definitely want to come out and make sure we run the game, run the ball like we need to. Um, it'll be interesting. I can't remember how many yards Tyler Algier has, but I would love to see the young man go over 1,000 yards. So let me look up that right quick because that's one of my things. I was like I said, individual performances is really one of the things I'm definitely looking at this year long, right? These last two games, while the playoffs don't have to look forward to that anymore, unfortunately. But we can definitely look at guys and see where the team is as a whole, individual players, how they're able to do some of the things that help them out in their career. So that's definitely some of the things I really look at it. So Tyler Gier has let's see here. Offense passing. Tyler Gier has 817 yards. So in these last two games, if he can eclipse 1,000 yards rushing, that would be awesome. So that's one of the things I want to see. Run the ball. Let this young rookie get if he can get 1,000 yards his rookie season. The fact that he didn't even start this season. You guys got to remember that. Remember, he was playing third string. So, of course, Cardell Patterson went down for 4 games. Him and Caleb Huntley was really um, dynamic in the backfield. Um, but if he can go over 1,000 yards, that would be awesome. So, one of the things I want to see, second key, is to run the ball. And let's see, can we get Tyler Algier to get closer to that thousand yards mark for him for a rookie his first season. Um, Also, my third and last key for this game on offense is let's put some points on the board. We really have not been scoring a lot of points in these last um, weeks here. It's really been slim pickings. Testament to our defense because our defense haven't gave up a lot of points, but our offense have not really contributed to the offense that it did early in the season. We really been stymied a little bit. Can't We're not able to sustain drives. Um, Now I can say it's complimentary football. A lot of teams we have been playing has been dominating the time of possession on us, controlling the clock. So we've been having less possessions for us to actually establish a rhythm and actually get into. So most every offense possession we have has really been important for us. And like I said, if you start off slow, like we've been doing in some of these last games, it's just limit the number of possessions we have, and limit us to not being able to put points on the board. So that's one of the things we really got to be able to do is put points on the board. Um, so my three keys on offense, like I said, we want to be able to start fast. Let's make sure we start fast this week. Number two, run the ball. Let's see, can we get Tyler Algier to his 1,000 yard rushing for the season? And then my third key um, is be able to put points on the board. We got to be able to put points on the board. If we do that on offense this week, um, give us a good chance to actually get a W. And we want to definitely be able to see some of these guys from an individual standpoint stand out. From Desmond Ritter, I definitely want to see his progression from week 1 to week 2 to week 3. See how he has actually improved over the 3 games. Um, only thing for a quarterback is experience and playing time. The more experience he get, the more playing time he get, the better he should get. If he have any chance of being that franchise quarterback that we want to see from the Atlanta Falcons. So neither team has anything to play for. So hopefully these guys go out, put it all out on the field and be able to. A lot of these guys, especially on the Atlanta Falcons side, is playing for future contracts, either with the Atlanta Falcons or with other teams, right? Because they were on 1 year deal. So a lot of these guys have a lot to play for. Um, but what I want to see from this game, from an offensive standpoint, is more individual performances. Um, I want to see Desmond Ritter. I want to see that chemistry between him and Drake London continue. Like I said, in the last 2 weeks, 20 targets for those guys. That's good chemistry to have. Um, I don't know what Marcus Mariota was doing um, with that, but Drake London really been getting targeted. You want to not have him force it, to Drake so much, but if he's open, give him the rock because he's really, really dynamic. Um, and I'm not really worried about his fumbling issues. I thought Marlon Humphrey made a great play on that last fumble that he had. But that's 3 fumbles this season. But I'm really still not really really concerned about his fumbling issues. Um, Tyler Algier, want to see him still be dominate like he's been doing. Can we get most 1,000 yards? Um, you want to see the offensive line continue to 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 open up holes like they have. I also want to give a shout out to Caleb McGarry, one of the guys that um, I really I thought that could have had a lost his job this off season, and then in that competition, but with it, Jermaine Fetty, but he really, really has played well this season. Like I said, and going to really make the Falcons make a tough decision on what to do with him because they did not pick up his fifth year option. So it's to the point now he's going to be a free agent. Do they get him a big contract or not? But I really thought Caleb McGarry played himself into a pretty sized payday for himself if he was the Falcons or not. I think Caleb McGarry did it good. It was one play last week. I think it might have been the fourth down play that we converted against Baltimore with him and Chris Lindstrom. That duo has really been good. Another play where Caleb McGarry just pancake the defensive end, outside linebacker on the outside. He's really been playing well, so I want to really shout out to Caleb McGarry. Um, the offensive line as a whole, that was one of the bad things that I was worried about coming into this offseason, but we really have not talked a whole lot about how bad offensive line has played this year, like in previous years. You're back to the mobility of the quarterback, but I really believe that the offensive line has really been playing well. You can just look at being third and rushing as well, being able to move bodies off the ball, and they really have learned this run blocking scheme to open up holes for us. So let's see what we got here. Um, we lost our best player. It's a mentality to the team right now. We need to play. Will they player give up? You're 100% correct. Kyle Pitts being out, and Arthur Smith mentioned this today, and I agree with him 100%. Um, Missing Kyle Pitts and Taquan Graham really hurt the team. If injuries are part of the game, but I really felt like and I to be honest with you, I said this before. I believe the missing of Taquan Graham was a little bit more seen than Kyle Pitts because we wasn't passing the ball that much when we had Marcus in the game. Now I would love to see Kyle Pitts out there. I think that the passing game would be even more dynamic with him out there. But um, those two guys really, really being out really hurt us. Don't make excuses and things like that. That's why you create your depth, right? But let's be honest, from a defensive line standpoint, the Falcons been hampered since training camp, right? Eddie Goldman retired on us. Vincent Taylor took an injury. So many different guys got hurt on that defensive line, and we were forced to play undrafted guys, um, guys that were third and fourth string guys that was coming in. So it really was a makeshift defensive line, beside Grady Jarrett. And when Taquan Graham went down, it really, really hurt us. So that defense, that those guys we really miss. And to your point, let's see if these guys we want to go out with a bang. Did you hear Grady interview? It sounded concerned to me. Yeah, I mean, but that's what you. I kind of liked what he had to say. He was same old shit. I feel him. I agree with him. But Grady's not going anywhere. You can feel the frustration. I know he's tired. But I would say this to Grady is that he stuck it out this long. Let's see now that these guys have the resources, the cap space, the means to actually go out and see can they get him some help. Let's see if they're able to do that. Right. We really want to see what the Falcons do this offseason. This is a big offseason for these guys. Um, plus the draft, the free agency, because they have the cap space. You have to go back in time to see when the last time the Falcons had 85 to $90 million in cap space. Going to the off seasons. So I mean, that's really really a big deal. So let's see. Here Grady coming into OTAs, in the mini camps and stuff this upcoming off season and see how his mindset be after the transactions that the front office make and see can we get some good stuff going on. Let's see here. I've been maybe watch if they can work on it and the top receiver and draft people could work. Yeah, they really need to go out and get another weapon in the passing game. You know, these guys were really not able to get separation like they needed to, especially when Kyle Pitts went out because you know having Kyle Pitts out there, he's a mismatch. So they probably gonna put blanket coverage over him and then open up spaces for other guys like Mom Days of Kids. So we really need to see um, what they'll be able to do. I haven't really looked at the draft, but I did hear that it really wasn't a lot of really, really great receivers coming out the draft. So we might have to go into free agency to pull some veteran guys. Whatever we need to do, we really need to get our receiving core under wraps. Really interested now. You think about it. Calvin Ridley, we traded him away. Definitely could have been somebody we could have utilized next year. 100%. Of course, that $11 million that we got off our books really going to help us. So we'll see what kind of moves they're able to make. By saving that $11 million, because we're going to either have to franchise him or get him a new contract. Anyway, he was going into his last year of his contract. So um, understand the move. Giving him a fresh start, giving Atlanta Falcons, like I said, that extra $11 million to play with going into the off season. But we definitely need to be able to do something in our receiver room to give Drake, Kyle some help, right? So we're going to see what these guys going to be able to do to that. Definitely don't need to go pick a pass catcher in the first round again, though. If anything, they need to go second, third round to get a pass catcher, and they need to go look at their defense this time. He said here, I know the coach likes 3-4 defense, but our linebackers are not seeing the play develop fast enough. Yeah, I agree with you, especially Troy Anderson. But Troy Anderson is really raw. He has flashed. He has flashed, right? So many times this year where you can see the potential there. Um, but he definitely needed to go in the offseason and watch more film so he'd be able to to your point, reading right, because he has the size to be able to do that. Rashawn Evans, we don't know if he's coming back. I thought he played well this season as well, but he was on a 1 year deal. Maybe another team decide to, you know, to give him some money, more money than the Falcons willing to pay him. So we'll just have to look at that. Um, by the way, Foye or Lolacun actually lead the lead in tackles again. But see, that's the kind of issue I'm talking about. We did not have enough money to pay Foye last year because of our salary cap issue. So we lost him. But 2 years in a row, linebacker leading the lead in tackles. We definitely could have utilized a guy like Fourier this year, but we didn't have the cap space to be able to do that. So your point is on by the linebackers. I don't know if Michael Walker is definitely. I think Michael Walker is more of a wheel wheel linebacker on outside because he does not tackle well at all. Um, and I think Troy just too raw. But we'll have to see him develop. This just they always say year one, year two. Let's see if Troy Anderson can actually have that jump that he needs. So that's what we hoping from this young defensive group that we got. The oldest guy on the defense right now is probably Grady, right? You think about him and Casey Hayward. Casey Hayward has another year in the contract. We definitely probably need to go back and look at our secondary as well on defense because we can't have where when our stars go down, then um, it looks completely like we can't cover anybody. So we got to create depth in that room as well. All right, let's talk about the defensive keys today. The defensive keys today. The first key that I really, really want to talk about on defense is who's going to be quarterback. Right, we don't know if Colt McCoy is going to be it. It's going to be Surly. That really dictates on the way they play this game. So if it's McCoy, more veteran guy that's been in the league a while, but he does not have the mobility that Masardi has. So you'll be able to actually play the defense a little differently. So we have to find out who the quarterback is going to be. If it's McCoy, you're going to be able to. The key I would say for that is probably being able to stop the run and make McCoy beat you with his arm, right? Um, Give him the different looks, the pressures that DPs like to do, things like that. So that's what I'm definitely looking for. But if it's Masorli, we got to be able to utilize him. Don't let him beat us with his legs, trying to get out the pocket and create things like that. So we got to make sure we do contain something we haven't really had to talk about. This year was a big issue for us last year, but we played some running quarterbacks this year as well, and I thought we played all those guys really good, really well this year. So the Atlanta Falcons did a great job. So the first key is just based off who the quarterback is going to be, how we're going to play that quarterback position, and make sure we play to their weaknesses, right? Our strength and their weaknesses from the quarterback position. The second key is we want to be able to stop the run. We want to be able to make sure we create a passing game at all costs. We got to be able to create pressure with our pass rush, but if we can start a run, make it one dimensional, and that's what we need to be able to do. And then the third and last key for me on defense this week is to get off the field on third down. You've been hearing me say it all year long. Third down is really been a thorn for us. A dean piece, he always admits that third and shorts is really killers. But that's why first and second down is so important. We can't put ourselves in third and shorts. Try to create third and longs and then be able to get out the field. The Falcons are notorious for giving up long, lots of third and long downs for some reason. We got to get rid of that trend. So getting off the field on third down is one of the keys that I really want to look at. So from a defensive standpoint, whoever the quarterback is, we got to be able to contain the quarterback, make him play to his weakness. Second key, stop the run. And then third key is to get off the field on third down. That's what we need to do this week. Individual guys that I'm definitely going to be looking at. We just talked about one, Troy Anderson. Want to see Troy Anderson make some strides. To your point, be able to read and react, make the tackle. He had a great play last week in the Ravens where he read it. He read the play, but he missed the tackle. He didn't wrap up like he needed to. He's too big to be missing tackles. Too big and strong and fast to be missing tackles. So I'm definitely going to be looking at Troy Anderson, Umber Evakati. Definitely somebody else I really want to see him just continue developing. He's so close. I love his skill set. Another guy I want to see D'Angelo Malone get more burn. So a lot of the young guys I definitely want to see out there and to see. This the future of the Atlanta Falcons, guys. We got on a contract more than just next year. I want to see Jalen Hawkins because I'm really, really, um, thinking that they might maybe need to go get another safety. Jalen Hawkins needed to come up. I'm not saying he played terrible this year, but I want to be able to see Jalen Hawkins play a little bit better. I like the way Richard Grant played in year two, especially coming down in the box, making huge tackles. He actually second on the team in tackles, which is really, really good for safety. But um, that speaks to our linebackers, right? Troy and Michael Walker. Then, because if you've got your safety making tackles, those guys need to be up in the tackles as well. Of course, Troy did not start all the games, but he's been starting the last 2 weeks. But those are the guys I want to see on offense, individual performance. I told you these last 2 weeks, I'm looking at more of the individual play, sort of like a preseason. See what these guys and see what they'll be able to do. Still trying to get the win, but you want to see more individual performance and see how these guys actually can help the team moving forward in the future. He said they young but got to grow up fast in the NFL. Really fast. Really fast. That's true, especially when you get a lot of playing time. Um, that defense is not allowing a lot of scoring. If we can improve on that, hope the offense can complement when they get off the field. His defense not getting up a lot of scoring. You're 100% right, man. Explosive plays were killed us. Explosive plays killed us in the last 2 weeks, right? Um, and even we just hoping to a field goal, but if we don't give up those explosive plays, we can actually get off the field. So explosive plays, that should have been one of my keys I had on defense, not giving up explosive plays, but um, that'd be an honorable mention. No explosive plays this week as well. Man, oh man, more. This right here is really, really big. I agree with you. All this zone coverage really drives me crazy. But Dean Peasy mentioned it. Some guys just really not good on man to man. So you want to be careful with that, playing the man to man, but we need to go get man to man guys then, because I like the man to man. I agree with you. Sometimes it's good on good, right? And then you have to just beat your man. And sometimes that's not what we've been saying this year. Their receivers are not good. Blitz. They do have Hopkins out there now. Don't forget about DeAndre Hopkins. He's pretty good. But I agree with you. Create pressure, especially if quarterback there, somebody's really not that mobile. Been in the league a while, seen more than younger quarterbacks, but putting pressure to him, try to have him create and make a mistake. Come on, guys, hit the like button. That's right, guys. Come on out. Yeah, you know what? I really like coming on here, and thank you guys for coming out here. Listen to me talk about these Atlanta Falcons. I love doing it. Been doing it now for about a year and a half. So, and it's going to keep doing it. It's not easy being a Falcon fan. Let's just be honest, right? Right. To be a Falcon fan, you really got to be a fan because so many heartbreaks we don't had over the season. So many times we watch games and you just got that feeling like something not going to go your way with the Falcons. Like this weekend, man, I feel like the refs cheated us so much. But being a Falcon fan, guys, is really I love it. Gonna and I'm going to see these guys when they actually start to win and create that winning thing. It's going to be really, really good for real Falcon fans to enjoy together. So just stick with us. We're going to be out here. Thank you guys for coming in. All the other Falcon content creators, thank you guys for doing your thing too, because we don't get national exposure. I love everybody' opinions. Everybody come out and speak their mind. We always, you know, the quarterback debates. Are we going to draft a running back? Is the coach go get fired? All the different opinions that everybody have, you love it. But at the end of the day, it's because we passionate. We like the team. We want to see this team succeed, and that's what it's all about. That's why you call it the fanatic, right? The fan. So, um, who do you see being an impact player on offense and defense? So this week, offense, let's say Desmond Ritter, man. we want to see Desmond Ritter play well, right? We want to see him look like a potential franchise quarterback. That's what we want to see. All right, that's what I want to say. I want to see Desmond Ritter play well. On the defensive side of the ball, um, I really want to see those pass rushers, those young pass rushers, our two rookies we drafted, Malone and Ebikadi. Let's see these guys get after the quarterback because those are right spots for the future. That's what I want to see. So young guys really stand up. We know what Grady is gonna do. We know what AJ gonna do. But we want to see these young guys make plays and give us hope, right? That's what we want to see. So Desmond Ritter, let's just see what he's able to do, and then those two pass rushers, D'Angelo Malone and Ebikadi. Let's see what they can do on the defensive side. So that's what I want to see impact. If they do impacts, man, that'll be awesome. You know, um, the normal guys do it. We expect those guys to do it anyway, right? Guys like Grady making plays, AJ Terrell making plays. We expect those guys to do their things, but we want to see these young guys make plays these last 2 weeks. You know, they have to give the coaching staff something, because what they say about NFL stands for not for long. So you just got drafted. I mean, look at Frank Darby, drafted last year, and actually did not make the 53-man roster. He's back on the squad now, but he didn't make it. So it's no guarantee because you get drafted. You have to go out and prove yourself day in, day out. Look at Matty Ice for an example. 14-year vet, um, playing third string now with the Colts. Who would have ever thought that? Um, Hope he don't affect his Hall of Fame, chances to get in because he's definitely playing for the Atlanta Falcons. Had the Hall of Fame numbers to actually get in, but that kind of thing, that kind of stuff, like going to another team and then getting benched and not playing well, really could hurt you. And the question is, who played worse, Matt Ryan or Russell Wilson? Definitely going to say Russell Wilson. So, but that's really that's how did the Falcons make a good decision? Get rid of Julio Jones. Did the Falcons make a good decision? Get rid of Matt Ryan. Right now, the answer is yeah, right. Yeah, you kind of was everybody had their opinions about it when it happened, but um, man, looking at it now, you said the Falcons really did a great job um with their decision. Um, when CP came back, Pitts went down, I would have played CP as tight end, confuse the defense, and we'll get the ball both running backs to short. You know what? I thought we were going to see more of this too. I agree with you 100%. I thought CP was going to be more in the passing game. I really did. I agree. I thought he was going to be more of a passing threat, especially when we had Kayla Huntley and Tyler Algier back there. But we don't know that we don't know why they didn't decide to go that route. They'll kind of schemes and things like that. Maybe if it was more in the in the playoff hunt, maybe we will see more wrinkles and things like that. But we never seen it. So, but that's a good strategy. I really thought that was going to be the case as well, especially when Kyle went down. I thought CP was going to be more in the passing game. I think we've seen him split out a couple of times, but for the most part, he's still been running the ball. Oh yeah, he would have been a mismatch on linebackers and safeties. I felt. I mean, he already mismatched on cornerbacks as well. So I agree with you 100%. He really would have been really good at that position. I don't know if he can block, on the end though. That's probably why didn't factor him in being on the end and playing tight end. But um, I mean, but you never know why coaches decide their scheme. We're not in the rooms. We don't know. That's why we just get to talk about it and play what they call the Monday morning quarterback, right? We seen the outcome, so we can talk about what they should have did, right? And if this would have worked, that didn't work. So that's the beauty of you know um, talking about sports, because we can talk about the outcome after it already happened. So that's what's awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to my last key: special teams. You always got to talk about special teams because it's part of the game. People always do not factor in special teams, but I always do, because if you don't talk about special teams, and then it'll be a special team boo boo, like in the Carolina game where the field goal kicker missed 2 field goals, right? Give us that win. Um, that's what happens, right? So, um, my first key, and you guys is not new to this key, is the field position. We always want to control field position on special teams. Um, I think it's one of the most underrated things in the NFL. When you talking about situational football, is the field position, right? Get the ball on their side of the field. More yards they got to drive to get a score. Get the ball on your side of the field is a couple of first downs. They're already in field goal range, so you got to really understand that field position is always going to be important. So we got to control field position this week, like every week. Um, that's always going to be probably my first key on special teams. Second key is, see, can we get Avery Williams? I'm talking about individual guys. So I want to see Avery Williams get a return this week. He leads the lead in point return yards. Can't believe he's not a Pro Bowler. But that's really what we want to see for Avery Williams. We want to be able to see Avery Williams actually, to see can he get a return this year. He's been close on a couple of times as well, but we want to see him. We had a kickoff return for a touchdown. Let's see, can we get a punt return for a touchdown? That would be awesome. And then the last key on special teams is, um, let's create an explosive in the block game, just like last week. Okendeji, who's really, to me, has really not had a good season. Um, from his first season, his second season, I would have thought he really made a good jump, but he did get that block field goal last week against Tucker, which is really, one of the best kickers to ever play the game. But so that's his second block kick of his career. He had one last year in Miami as well. So, Ogundeji, somebody, let's get another block. We already had a block punt this year. Troy Anderson almost took the Rams' kick leg off his body with that block, and then if we get another explosive play in the kicking game, blocking, that would be awesome. So those are my 3 keys on offense, guys. Feel free to give me your keys to the game. Let me know who you feel that definitely is going to be somebody that can actually um, be impact player, somebody that you would like to see, um, something that you would like the coaching staff to look at and address, or just what look at some of the holes that we need to fill this upcoming off season. So those are some of the things that we definitely need to do. Um, you say CP run over people? Yeah, he do run over people. He do run over people. But blocking is really is different, man. Especially think about running backs, because you look at running backs in college, right? They run the ball hard, but they're not in there on third down if they can't block. They can't pass protect for the quarterback on third downs. No matter how hard how good of a runner you is, you got to be able to pass protect. So um, I think it's a skill to be able to to block in the passing game and in the running game as well. So it's not, I mean, big bodies is good, but you got to be able to have that skill to do it. I thought one of the best, um, Mike, Mike, who we had last year here, our running back, can't think his last name. Um, but the running back we had last year, he was a really good pass protection running back. Didn't do a lot of things in the run game. That's why we didn't decide not to keep him. But he got released. But um, he was a really good pass protector. I think Tyler Algier, has really did a good job as well. That's the only reason he's out there too, because if you can't pass protect in the run game as a running back, um, you're not going to be on the field. That's was one of the knocks on Quadri Allison when Doug Carter was here with Dan Quinn. Um, Quadri Allison was one of the guys that they said that could not block in passing game. That's why he wasn't on the field. Cam Akers for the Los Angeles Rams. That's why he don't be on the field sometimes because he can't pass block. So those are that's one of the skills you need to have as a running back. You got to be able to pass and protect your quarterback and on third down, or you ain't gonna be out there. So that's one of the things that you definitely got to look at. Here CP at tight end, wide receiver 2 would be better. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. More on the outside, not on the end, not on the end. I agree with you, but he could feel that Kyle Pitts role though. Kyle Pitts split out a lot, in the slot. They had him all over the field, but in line, nah. But I agree with you. Out in the slot, definitely you can see CP doing that. Thought you would have seen that more when Kyle Pitts went out, but we did not. So, I mean, what's going on, Bridget? Guess you're right. I mean, linebacker going to think twice before he takes CP. The end might be worried about taking on. Yeah. I mean, like I said, CP is going to be a mismatch in the passing game, no matter who it is, cornerback, linebacker, DN. That's definitely a mismatch. You put a DN out there, it's going to be over. So those some of the things that defense you want to put them. You want to put the defense in a quandary. What they want to do, right? You want to be able to create the mismatches. That's why. That's why the motion, and you see that most offenses doing this now. They always have a motion on every down because it just make the defense have to think about something else, and then we always see quarterbacks where they'll split their running back out and then they'll bring him in and they trying to see if the defense in man or zone, whatever they're trying to do, they kind of just figure out what the defense trying to do. Those good defenses though. I remember back in the day that the matchup between Peyton Manning and Ray Lewis and the Baltimore Ravens, they used to wait right before Payne used to hike the ball to get in the defensive set that they was really going to get in. Because at that point, the quarterback doesn't have time because, quarterbacks like Payne was so smart. If you tell him where you at, he know where to go with the ball 100%. So they had to disguise it to the last minute to kind of to trick Peyton Manning, because that's why they call him the sheriff, guys, because he studied so much. If you was going to be a tell and tell him where you were, he was going to pick you apart, right? So that's those great quarterbacks. That's why it's you have to tip your hat off to some of those Raven defenses because they were so good being able. And somebody mentioned it here earlier. It was always more man to man, right? You have to be able to beat your man. That's one of the things Arthur Smith talked about earlier today as well was, the getting home with just your front four. If you're able to do that, you really can do so much with your defense because now you don't have to draw up so much pressure because you're able to get home your front four. That what made the Legion of Boom so good. Their front four was able to get home a lot, and they could play 7 in the back. It's hard for defense quarterbacks to be able to, decipher a 7-man back with no pressure, right? You're not blitzing. Now your front four is getting home, and you still got 7 guys in the backfield. So that's one of the things we definitely need to work on our season. We can get Grady some help. Taquan Brown coming back is definitely going to be big for us, but we can get another guy. Jalen Carter is one of the guys everybody talking about. Yes, that's a monster. We can get a guy like him to come in and wreck things. That would be awesome. But we got to be able to create that pressure for our front four. We can do that. That's going to be great for us. He says, He's strong. I believe he can do it, but it's too late now. I'm living room. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we all do that though, man. Like I don't know how many times you guys, if you watching the game, you be like, why we running that play? Why we doing that? Because we, like the in the Rams in the Saints game the other week, why we was running all those trick plays, man? Why Felipe Franks was back at quarterback? I mean, you're trying to figure out what Arthur Smith was thinking about. I get it, man. We had a bye week, putting some wrinkles to try to catch the defense off guard, but none of that crap worked, right? And we was like, man, why you just don't do what you always do, right? That's what everybody was asking, and but that's what we do, man. That's the fun about it. We don't know, the scheme. We don't know the game plan that was going into it, um, right? And like what Arthur Smith always say, they have a say as well. So the other team has a say as well. That's true because they a professional team, just like we are. So you gotta tip your hats off to the other team sometimes. Sometimes you just get beat, right? And sometimes you could have called it the right play and somebody just make a better play. And it's not coaching, it's just that guy made a better play than your guy. He executed his assignment better than execute your assignment. And that's how it happens. So guys, I've been on here an hour. Um, enjoyed talking to you guys about the Atlanta Falcons. We got one more game after this week. Then we're gonna get into the off season, which is really exciting, to be honest with you, especially when your team um they make it to the playoffs and then you start to look at how they can improve and you start looking at the new additions. And we will have new additions this year, right? Because we got 28 free agents. So we're gonna have some new guys on this squad, to include the draft picks. We want to see what free agents come in. We're gonna talk about all that. We're gonna break it all down this off season. But we got to get through these last two games, right? And we want to see these guys show some improvement. We want to see Desmond Ritter see what he's able to do um, these last two games to see if he could actually be the guy that we did for us, right? It's not out the realm that the Falcons draft a quarterback. Personally, I don't know if any of these quarterbacks is worth drafting in the top five, but um, it's not out the realm that they can do that, right? So we just have to see what happens. Um, got to fix to eat, ready to enjoy the show. Appreciate it, man. Thanks you for coming in. So, guys, I'm gonna get out of here as well. Like I said, thank you guys for coming in, tuning in today. Um, like I said, please go out and share this throughout the YouTube universe so more Falcon fans come in and hear my takes. There's so many other Falcon content creators. I enjoy watching them as well. Everybody, like I had their opinions and things like that. It's just awesome to see the Falcon community growing. Um, and like I said, guys, being a Falcon fan is you really a Falcon fan. There's no other way around it, right? You ain't bandwagon following somebody or something like that. When you're a Falcon fan, you really a Falcon fan. It's just this their nature of the beast, right? Um, and every time I go somewhere with that Falcon, gear on, people like, you really a Falcon fan? Yes, I'm really a Falcon fan. That's what it is. So you gotta love it. So that's it, guys. That's it. That's your boy Recondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.